Hi everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share, so let's begin. My name is Christian, and I'm about to tell you something I never thought I'd go through, let alone sit here and talk about. When the woman I thought I'd built my entire life with asked for a divorce one night with no warning or explanation, I was completely blindsided. I had no idea why she wanted to leave. So, even though it broke me into a million pieces, I let her go. But just when I thought I had everything figured out, she showed up again, finally telling me the truth. And let me tell you, the truth was worse than I ever imagined. But before I get into that, let me take you back to how it all started. When I met Lauren, she was everything I had ever wanted. Smart and beautiful. Her kind of energy was rare, and I was drawn to it like a magnet. We met through a mutual friend at a small get-together. It was a casual night with a few drinks, music, and conversations that went on longer than expected. That night, we exchanged numbers, and from there, things took off. Our relationship moved fast, but it never felt rushed. We spent hours on the phone, talking about everything and nothing at the same time. She brought life into moments that would otherwise be ordinary. I fell for her hard. And when I love, I go all in. There was no hesitation in my mind. I wanted to be with her, build something real, and make her happy. I decided to propose when we were sitting on a rooftop one evening, watching the city lights. She was lost in thought when I pulled out the ring and asked her to be my wife. She didn't hesitate. She said yes, and at that moment, I thought I had everything I ever wanted. Our wedding was beautiful. I promised to take care of her, to love her, to be her partner in everything. And I meant every word. From that day on, I made sure she never had to worry about anything. If she wanted something, I treated her like a queen because, in my mind, that's what she deserved. I worked hard to build a future where she would never have to struggle, never have to feel like she lacked anything. Looking back now, I see just how blind love can make you. I thought giving her everything would be enough. The truth is, sometimes, people don't want everything handed to them, because they start looking for something else, even when they already have more than enough. But I didn't know any of this yet. At that point, I was just a man who loved his wife and believed she loved me back the same way. One night, I was sitting on the couch, half watching a documentary on the television while responding to a few work emails on my laptop when Lauren, my wife, walked into the living room, stood right in front of me, and said, "I want a divorce." At first, I thought she was trying to be funny. I actually laughed, thinking she was joking. But she was dead serious. "What?" I asked, sitting up straight. I was completely blindsided. There had been no fights, no shouting matches, nothing that would have warned me this was coming. It didn't make sense. I asked her why. I needed to understand. Had I done something wrong, or had something happened that I wasn't aware of? But she just stood there. "I just want to leave," she said, with no explanation or emotion. I wasn't about to let my marriage end over nothing. So I pushed and begged her to talk to me, to explain what had changed, but she didn't move. People don't just wake up one day and decide to destroy their marriage for no reason. I told her we could fix whatever was wrong and do whatever it took. But she wasn't interested. She had made up her mind. And the more I pressed, the colder she became. Eventually, I realized something painful. If someone is determined to leave, there's nothing you can do to stop them. I don't remember much of what happened after that. But at some point, I stopped begging and questioning. And just like that, the life we had built together, the home, the memories, the future we had planned, was shattered in an instant. When Lauren walked out of my life, my world came crashing down. How do you make sense of something that doesn't make sense? The nights were the hardest. I'd lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to pinpoint the exact second when things started falling apart. Was there a sign I ignored? I couldn't look at relationships the same way anymore. The idea of love and commitment all felt like a scam. Every time I met a woman, all I could think about was how easily she could walk away. It didn't matter how sweet she was. In the back of my mind, there was always that voice whispering, "It's only a matter of time before she leaves too." Marriage was completely off the table. I wasn't going to put myself in a position where I could be blindsided like that again. It wasn't just about protecting my assets, it was about protecting my sanity. I had already lived through the worst-case scenario, and I wasn't about to give someone else the power to do it to me again. If love meant giving someone the ability to destroy me, then I wanted no part of it. I had two choices after the divorce: let the pain consume me or take control of my life. At first, it felt impossible to move forward, but I knew I couldn't stay stuck forever. So, I did the only thing that made sense. I buried myself in work. I picked up extra projects. Work became my escape, a distraction from the emptiness that followed me home every night. The more I focused on my career, the less time I had to dwell on what had happened. At the same time, I knew I couldn't just power through everything on my own. The emotional damage ran deep, and ignoring it wouldn't make it disappear. That's why I gave therapy a shot. Talking about my feelings wasn't something I had ever been comfortable with. But little by little, I started opening up. Therapy helped me untangle those emotions. As the months passed, I started feeling different gradually. I had accepted that some things don't have clean answers, and that was okay. The biggest shift was realizing that I wasn't emotionally vulnerable anymore. The version of me that was scared of being hurt again, of trusting the wrong person, was fading. I wasn't naive, but I also wasn't afraid. My daily routine was simple: work, gym, and home. The gym, in particular, became my escape. I kept myself mostly focused on my own workouts, but over time, I started noticing someone. She was there almost every evening, just like me. At first, it was nothing more than quick nods of acknowledgement and small talk between sets, and before I knew it, we were having full conversations. Her name was Vanessa. Just like me, she had been through her own share of disappointments. We found common ground in that. Neither of us wanted to rush into anything serious, and we made that clear from the start. Marriage wasn't even on the table. I told her about my past, about how I wasn't ready to go through that kind of pain again. She understood, because she had her own reasons for keeping things casual. That understanding was what made things easy between us. We just enjoyed each other's company. 2 years passed like that, and in that time, things got better. I felt in control of my life. With Vanessa, things remained as they were, steady. No one was trying to take a piece of me, my heart, or my finances, and for me, that was enough. At least, until the night everything changed. One evening, I had just gotten back from the gym, but then, out of nowhere, there was a knock at the door. At first, I didn't think much of it. It might be a neighbor or a delivery of what I ordered some days ago online. I walked to the door, unlocked it, and pulled it open. And that's when I saw Lauren, my ex-wife, standing there. For a moment, I just stood there, staring at her, my brain struggling to catch up with what my eyes were seeing. Before I could even ask what she was doing here, she spoke first. "We need to talk." I didn't know how to respond. Part of me wanted to slam the door in her face, because she doesn't get to just show up out of nowhere and demand my time. But another part of me needed to hear what she had to say. Without saying a word, I stepped aside and let her in. She walked past me and into my living room. As soon as she sat down, she broke and started sobbing. I just stood there, watching, waiting. After what felt like an eternity, she finally looked up at me, tears streaming down her face, and said something I never expected to hear. "I was wrong. I should have never left. And I should have told you why." She was struggling even to get the words out. "I owe you the truth." I crossed my arms and nodded, signaling for her to continue, and she started explaining. After we got married, I threw myself into my work because I had a plan. If I pushed hard for a few years, I'd reach a level where money would never be a problem again. I thought that was the smart thing to do. Get the grind over with early so we can enjoy the rewards later. Lauren told me that, at first, she tried to be patient. She saw how hard I was working, and she knew I was doing it for us. But then, she started seeing her friends posting pictures from trips to Paris, Bora Bora, the Maldives, honeymoon vacations, couples enjoying their lives while we were stuck in a routine. She would scroll through social media, seeing their expensive dinners, their weekend getaways, their perfect, effortless happiness. And with every post, every picture, She felt more and more like she was missing out. She tried to talk to me about it. She wanted to travel, to enjoy life the way her friends were. But when she brought it up, I told her what I thought was the logical answer. Give it some time. Let me set things up properly. And then we'll have all the time and money in the world to do whatever we want. In my mind, that made perfect sense. It was a temporary sacrifice for long-term gain. But to her, it felt like rejection, like I was choosing work over her. She told me that one day, it just hit her. It felt like she was wasting her youth, stuck in a marriage that wasn't giving her the excitement she wanted. She convinced herself that it would be easier to just start over, that somewhere out there was a man who could give her the life she wanted right now, without her having to wait. And just like that, she made up her mind. She walked up to me that night, said she wanted a divorce, and refused to give me a real explanation. She left, thinking she was upgrading her life. My mind was running through everything she had just said. For 2 years, I had no explanation. And now, here she was, finally giving me answers. I exhaled slowly. So, let me get this straight, I said. You left. You asked for a divorce, took your settlement, and walked away without a word. And now, after all this time, you're here. Why? What do you want? She looked at me, her eyes red and swollen from crying. I was wrong, she whispered. I thought I was missing out. I thought life outside of this marriage would be exciting, that I would find someone who could give me what I thought I wanted. But I was wrong, Christian. So wrong. She wiped her face, trying to steady herself. I took what you did for me for granted. You made everything so easy. I never had to worry about anything, money, stability, or someone who actually cared about me. And when I got out there, I realized men aren't like you. They don't care the way you did. She was finally saying what I had suspected all along, but it didn't bring me any satisfaction. She had gambled everything we had, and she had lost. And now she wanted to come back like nothing had happened. She sniffled. I was stupid. I thought I could do better, but no one even comes close to you, Christian. I regret it. I regret all of it. She took a deep breath and finally said, I want another chance. Looking at Lauren, I was quite certain that I was done. There was no space for her in my life anymore. Not after what she did. That door had closed. I kept my voice calm. I told her, as clearly as I could, that she made her choice when she left. She wanted adventure, excitement, something different. She had it. And if she still wanted it, she was welcome to keep chasing it. But it wouldn't be with me. She reached out, trying to explain herself again, but I didn't need to hear any more. I had already heard enough. She begged me to reconsider, said she knew she messed up, that she would do anything to fix it. But what she didn't seem to understand was that some things can't be fixed. Some choices can't be undone. I walked to the door and opened it. The message was clear. This conversation was over. I wasn't trying to be cruel, but I wasn't going to let her manipulate me into feeling guilty for moving on. She had to leave. As she stood up, wiping her face, trying to pull herself together, the moment got even worse for her. Just as she turned toward the door, my girlfriend walked in. It was the most perfect, brutal timing. Lauren stopped in her tracks, looking at the woman who had taken a place she thought she could reclaim. My girlfriend, completely unaware of what was happening, smiled at me. And I did what came naturally. I pulled her in for a hug. That was the moment Lauren understood. There was nothing left for her here. She didn't say anything else. She just walked past us, head down. A few weeks after Lauren showed up at my door, I got a call from Mike. Now, let me be clear, I hadn't spoken to Mike in over a year. We were never best friends, just one of those guys you kept in touch with because you ran in the same circles. So, when his name popped up on my phone, I almost didn't answer. If we weren't close when I was married, why would we suddenly have something to talk about now? But curiosity got the best of me. I picked up. Christian man, he said, his voice carrying that awkward hesitation that told me this wasn't just a friendly check-in. Been a while. Yeah, I replied. What's up? Mike replied. Look, I know this is random, but I ran into Lauren the other day. That caught my attention, because she was suddenly knocking on my door, and days later, someone was calling me about her. Something fell off. Mike continued. Well, let's just say she wasn't looking too good. I stayed silent, waiting for him to get to the point. She asked me for money, he finally said. Not just a little either. A couple $100. Said she'd pay me back, but man, she looked desperate. I asked, "She tell you why?" Mike chuckled. "Dude, she didn't have to. It's obvious. She's drowning. After you two split, she got caught up chasing that Instagram lifestyle, partying, traveling, dating guys who just wanted a good time. But none of them stuck around. And now, she's broke, in debt. She even pawned off a bunch of her stuff just to get by." I sat back, processing. This was the life she wanted. She made that choice. And now, she was living the consequences. Mike sighed. "I wasn't sure if I should tell you, but I figured you'd want to know." I exhaled slowly. "I appreciate it, man. But honestly, there's nothing for me to do with that information." There was a pause before Mike spoke again. "Yeah, I figured you'd say that." We wrapped up the call. Days after, I am still reflecting on what happened, how I felt, and what I learned from it. And the truth is, this whole experience taught me some hard but valuable lessons. I want to share them with you because I know someone out there might be dealing with something similar. The first lesson? Patience and gratitude matter. A lot of people throw away something good because they can't wait for better days. Lauren had a husband who loved her and planned for a future where she wouldn't have to worry about anything. But because she didn't get the lifestyle she wanted fast enough, she walked away. I told her to wait, and she left. And this isn't just about relationships. It applies to life in general. If you don't appreciate what you have and give it time to grow, you might lose it, only to realize too late that it was the best thing for you. The second lesson? The grass isn't always greener on the other side. This is one of the biggest lies people tell themselves. They think they'll be happier if they just leave and start over, that there's something or someone better waiting for them, and all they have to do is walk away from what they have now. But what they don't realize is that the better they're looking for might not even exist. That's why I tell people, before you leave what you have, ask yourself, are you truly unhappy or are you just impatient? Because once you cross that bridge, there might be no way back. The third lesson? People who leave you easily aren't meant to stay. This one took me a while to fully accept, but it's true. If someone can walk away from you without a real reason, let them go. I spent months hurting over Lauren, wondering what I did wrong, wondering if I should have fought harder. But looking back now, I see things clearly. She wasn't forced to leave. She wasn't abused, neglected, or mistreated. She just left because she wanted to. And that's all the reason I need to know she was never truly meant to stay. Real love doesn't walk away when things aren't perfect. Real love stays, grows, and fights for what it has. So if someone in your life can leave without a second thought, let them. Don't waste your time trying to convince them to stay. Because the people who truly love you, they won't need convincing. And the final lesson? Self-worth over nostalgia. This one is important because a lot of people get trapped in the past. They hold on to memories and history, thinking that just because they once loved someone, they have to take them back. But here's what I realized. Just because you had good moments with someone doesn't mean they deserve a place in your future. When Lauren came back, I could have let nostalgia cloud my judgment. I could have remembered all the good times and ignored all the pain she caused me. But I knew better. I knew that letting her back in would mean disrespecting myself. And no matter how much history we had, I had to put myself first. And that's something I want all of you to remember. Your self-worth is more important than your past with someone. If they left you once, they'll leave you again. Don't let memories trick you into reopening a door that should stay closed. Now, I want to hear from you. What would you do if this happened to you? If the person who left you suddenly came back, begging for another chance, how would you handle it? Would you take them back? Or would you walk away like I did? Let me know in the comments. If you've ever been through something like this, share your experience. Your story might help someone else who's going through the same thing right now. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you found this story valuable, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.